What is up, people? Happy Sunday. It is the 7th of November. We are finishing the week strong. Just about to go live in our Facebook group for the Property Round Bootcamp. But just wanted to do a video for YouTube really because I've been getting a number of questions really in relation to why I am, from their perspective, why I'm not successful raising capital, for my property projects. And it's a great question because it's a difficult thing to do, raising capital for property, for your projects, whether it's a tilt to down terrace flip or whether it is a development of 20 houses, whatever it may be. It is not easy. And something which I talk a lot about when I'm working with clients up and down the country, raising money from 5-figure sums to 6-7 sums, all the way to 7-8 figures, is you've got to be able to build trust and have clarity on where you're going with your property projects. And I think that comes down to the team that you surround yourself with, but more importantly, you actually have to have deals that actually stack up. I think a lot of people get into property, they find an off-market deal, it's direct to vendor, but the vendor just wants too much. The vendor wants too much money. And a great mentor always told me, he said, Jake, property deals, developments, pieces of land, buildings that you can convert into apartments or houses that you can obviously convert into a 4-bed HMO. It's like a London bus. There's always one around the corner. So, I think having clarity on where you're going with this in terms of what you're actually raising money for, and actually having the, being able to give people confidence and trust that you're the man, you're the lady, the individual to be actual, for them to loan money to you, and that starts with the team, the reverse engineering, the plan, the vision, where you're going. And you've got to be able to have real strong confidence in the projects that you're actually raising money for. I think it's very clear and easy to tell, when someone comes to, someone tries to discuss a deal with me and they're saying to me, Jake, I've got this deal here, it requires 500,000, 200 grand, whatever it may be, it doesn't really matter the figure. And they, like, oh yeah, we've looked at this, looked at comparables, and it's like, well, what do you mean comparables? You just looked at things online, whether it's, what's selling for the market at the moment. Have you actually looked at the price history data over the last 18 months? Have you looked at build costs? Have you looked at, what's happening with the build costs and construction market over the last 18 months? Have you seen that your labour costs have gone up? Have you seen, materials have gone up and, they're out undersupplied? So it's all these things which I think, you've got to ask those questions, and you've got to also make sure that you are simplifying, your capital raising processes, because, it's very important that as much as you've got to demonstrate professional due diligence and your clear research, as well as headline and detail analysis, you've got to be able to make sure that you're keeping it simple for the investors, because there's really 3 points that investors really want to understand when it comes to lending money to a project, and that is money in, money out, and timeframes. Jake, I want to give you X amount of money for a certain period of time. I'm going to get a certain percentage back or level of money back for X, Y, Z in certain time frames. And it's very important that you can answer those 3 questions with detailed analysis in it. And I think, how you do that, and so you can keep it simple with the guys that you're obviously working with, the investors, is, the team around you. I started property, when I started property, I didn't have tons and tons of experience. I've just turned 25 now. I've been in property full time since I was 18. And despite me doing loads of projects, I'm still fairly new in the game, so I constantly have to surround myself with great people, people that have done this time and time again. And I think it's important, don't just work with Jack and Jill on the road. Don't just work with people that you think you can get a good deal on. Try to work with the very, very best. And again, that's even a difficult task in itself, because you're asking people who are experienced, qualified, to almost take a punt and actually take a risk in working with you as well. But, that comes down to whether it's a contractor, a builder, or whether it's a planning consultant, whoever it may be. You've got to make sure that ultimately you've got good deals that stack up and make money, because otherwise you're completely wasting your time, wasting money. So make sure you're doing that, guys. Make sure you actually have trust, clarity on where you're going. The vision is very important. You're getting people to buy into a business plan, because without that, people can't understand the confidence and get excited of where you're going. Because if you're not excited, you don't have confidence to deal yourself, how are people you're raising money from going to have the same sort of feeling and motivation? So trusted team, confidence, clarity, deals that actually stack up, and constantly network. Don't be too disheartened when it comes to, getting a no at the early stage. A no is get you closer to a yes. But, raising capital is a global market. So, don't be, get out there, be proactive, get active. You could be sending 50 to 100 messages out every single day on LinkedIn, which is a tool that I use and still use day in, day out. Now I'm in a position where I've got quite a number of funders looking for opportunities across the UK, whether it's in supported living, residential. My problem is that I've got too many funders looking to do too many projects, and for me, it's been able to narrow that down into a plan which allows me to scale, that allows me to achieve my goals. But ultimately, you've got to find out the right capital partners for yourself. What capital partners fit and match and align with what you're trying to achieve. It's not just about raising 100 grand or raising £1 million with someone. If they're not the right capital partner, you don't need to be working with them. You shouldn't be working with them, because it all sounds great and everyone's happy in the honeymoon period when it comes to raising money and working together in a joint venture format. But when times get tough, if they're not got the right capital partner or who's bought into the same vision, things can get very itchy and very sort of messy. And I've learned that firsthand with experiences when I raised a couple of £1 million for one of my projects I did in the centre of Manchester. So I think it's important with that. If you've got good deals, you've got a trusted team behind you, have confidence in what you're offering to an investor. Have confidence in what you're offering to, a funded institution, a private investment group, whoever it may be. It does not really matter. But confidence, good deals, incredible team, and get actively out there, network, let us know tomorrow. So I hope that helped. And like, subscribe. Anything you got in terms of queries, questions, or anything at all. I help clients around the world, funds, institutions, invest in the UK property market, as well as help people one-to-one scale. So any questions, queries, get in touch, and have an amazing day. Let's go.